Hello, good afternoon. Can you all see me? Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, we can see the screen.
So, PowerPoint.
Yes.
Okay, I have shared this case study last week. Did you all receive? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hope you already gone through because I don't take much time because there's a requirement at least I had to do two cases. So that's why I shared last week. I couldn't do it, right? So I shared. So this is about IBM today and how it started and so on. So hope you have gone through and how the agent has made a change. Of course, there are a lot of agents as involved during this 150 years history, but I talk about only one agent who has done as a CEO. Okay. So it's a 150-year company, so I'm not going to talk much. Uh, so you, as you would have gone through. So, and here you can see the current CEO, Aravind, says they have gone through 5 times, like a startup, all startup. So you see that company continuously has to do change. If not, they cannot survive. It was one of the top 10 company or admired company during 1980s by research and all other things. But they went into huge trouble. So they did a lot of changes, right? If you are going through, so what I am talking, it was a company started with the computerization started, okay? And like in Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation started with the punch card with their mainframe computer. Like other companies started with the RBG2, then AS400, then they came out with the PC. Now they don't do all the business. They are now is a hybrid cloud AI quantum company. So they are changed and they are sold. If you know that if you are using Lenovo, it was owned by them, but it was owned by my IBM PC, but they sold it to a Taiwan company, now owned by a Taiwan company, rebranded as Lenovo. Because that is why I wanted to see here the failure. A lot of things you can learn. That's the purpose of this case. Hope you have already read it. So then I don't go through much because the 30 slide, I'll take only 10 to 15 minutes. So this is a time frame the company has gone through up to 2023 they are, right? So that computer then their purpose, their mission, their values, right? He is the current CEO. Okay, but we are talking about different CEO who did the change there. Okay, so this is how their case history. So I am not going through, so hope you have read it. This is how the IBM PC started. Okay, 1981 they started. I used one of these in 1991 or 91. I bought IBM PS1. So when I was working for a company, then they bought it for me, right? So during 1985-90, it was a huge peak performance, financial domain. And like I said, it was one of the top 10 admired company by Fortune and other magazines when they do rank in the companies in the world. Okay, Fortune 500. So out of that, they are top 10 admired company. But if you see it now, they are not in the top 10, of course, but by changing, they are survived. Because the past success is the enemy of the future. I am repeating. Some people think that the success is not a good, but maintaining is difficult or sustaining is difficult. So unless you change continuously, you can't sustain. So this company is an innovation company, changing mind, but little bit slow, and is an electronic engineering minded culture company. But they realize time to time. So like I said, 5 times they have done a change. Okay, market leadership. They were innovation company, like I said. Okay, so they started fall and the rebirth. So 5 times they fall and rebirth. So that because of the leadership, sometimes some CEOs comes and do something they couldn't do it. So then they took another CEO. So then you do a change like a rebirth. So now currently as a rebirth like that.
Today, we are talking about a true titan. I mean, a company that was once more dominant in its field than Apple, Google, and Microsoft are today combined. And then somehow it all came crashing down.
Can you hear the sound?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. So listen to this video.
Today, we are talking about a true titan. I mean, a company that was once more dominant in its field than Apple, Google, and Microsoft are today combined. And then somehow it all came crashing down. Yep, we're unpacking the absolutely wild history of IBM. It's an incredible story about how you can invent an entire industry, lose your way so badly that you're facing total collapse, and then, against all odds, pull off one of the greatest comebacks in business history. So to really get this, we have to go way back. I'm talking before the first computer even existed, back to an age of gears and punch cards. This is where it all began for the original tech giant. You know, unlike so many tech companies that start with one genius in a garage, IBM was actually forged. It was a strategic move by a financier named Charles Flint, who saw what nobody else did. He realized that if you combine companies making time clocks, scales, and these amazing new punch card machines, you could create something incredibly powerful. And then came the legend, Thomas J. Watson Sr. This guy built a corporate culture that was second to none. See, he knew he wasn't just selling machines. He was selling solutions. He built a sales force that was fiercely loyal. So in 1924, when he changed the name to International Business Machines, it wasn't just a branding exercise. It was a promise, a huge declaration of where this company was going. And that ambition, well, it laid the groundwork for an era of just complete and utter dominance. In the years after the war, IBM didn't just get into the computer business. For all intents and purposes, it was the computer business. Seriously, as the computer age was just getting started, IBM didn't just show up to the party, they basically took it over. It wasn't even just about having the best tech. They sold trust. The saying was, nobody ever got fired for buying IBM, and that loyalty was ironclad, thanks to their brilliant sales and service. So, just how dominant were they? Get this, by the mid-1950s, a mind-blowing 85% of all computers in the United States were made by IBM. This is where they got the nickname Big Blue. Unbelievable, right? But they were so laser focused on selling these giant multi-million-dollar mainframes to big companies that they just couldn't see the revolution that was about to happen on everyone's desks. Their whole world was built for corporate data centers, a world that the company lost almost $16 billion. At the time, it was the biggest corporate loss in American history and totally shocked the system. He famously said his plan. First, keep the company together. Second, pivot like crazy from selling hardware to providing services, solving customer problems. Third, invest heavily in high-profit software. And fourth, get rid of all the stuff that wasn't making real money. He was turning IBM back into the solutions company again. That incredible turnaround didn't just save the company, it completely reshaped it and set the stage for the IBM we see today, a company that is still constantly changing and betting big on what's next. You can actually see Gerstner's playbook still at work. They keep selling off the businesses with lower profits, yeah, even the iconic PC division, so they can go all in on the big growth areas. That massive $34 billion deal for Red Hat, that was a huge bet on the future of cloud computing. Spinning off Kyndryl, another move to focus the main company squarely on AI and software. When you look at it, IBM's entire history is this incredible lesson. If you want to survive for more than 100 years, you have to be willing to tear down what you've built and completely reinvent yourself, again and again. And now, in a world dominated by a new generation of tech giants, the biggest question of all is, can Big Blue do it one more time?
The story about that, so if you want to survive, you have to reinvent again. So they have been doing that, right? So they were started mainframe, tech company, mainframe, then they become PC, then now they are in a different cloud and AI and sort of thing. Okay, so they identified the need for a change. IBM identified in 93. Okay, so key period of change IBM. So these are the began losing dominant market 62 to 32%. So they started seeing the drop in the market. So they found it. Okay. So they sense it as a need for a change. So we discussed that 5 process of change management, right? So technological shift, because they found it there also, like I said, it's engineering mindset. Okay, so change mindset is also organizational rigidity. So that was a big issue, right? Then it has started giving a financial issue. So this is during 1980. There is a crisis period for IBM. Okay, so then a problem, demand for IBM mainframe was decreasing because they're expensive. That's why people went for PC. So weak marketing strategies. So that the marketing was not good. I said it's an engineering mindset. They always bringing on about product and the performance, not about telling the customers like that. So during the time only, the Dell came to the scene, and IBM say we will courier it. Dell say we'll come and fix it. I'm telling two things. When IBM say when you ask for it, we'll courier it, but Dell say we'll come and fix it. So Dell started e-commerce, right? You know what I'm talking, PC, Dell PC. He came and started doing it, and so when you call for it, we'll come and fix it for you. So it gave a convenience to personal form computer system. So mainframe, few companies, no, when you go to 350 million US customers, the population, so you can go for a PC. So they went for a PC, but still, then Dell did it different way through e-commerce. They were doing $1 million per a day. I'm not talking maybe now, it might be around 30 years back, right? So cost and bureaucracy, like I say, engineering mindset. So here, failure to adapt to the PC revolution, because PC was coming up, but they were very late. But they came out later. But again, you can't use MS Office. You had to use Lotus, Word Perfect, like that. If I have used that when I was buying that one, because even though MS Office was there, but they were not allowed because they were very closed mindset. So that's the problem created, right? So MS Office available, but so Dell and all went with the Office, MS Office, or the window. Okay, so Office would have come later, but it was window. Okay, so this is the strength and weakness. So you do your SWOT, right? So they did a SWOT and they found what is the threat, what is the weakness. So they, what need to be changed, they identified. Okay. So this is a guy who wrote a book who said, or who says elephant can't dance. The huge company in the world, IBM, International Machine Corporation, top 10 company, admired, but went into a, but then he said, no, you can do change. So that's a good exercise and the learning for you about the failure, how this man made a change. IBM did it. Okay, sorry, there's a mistake. IMB, it should be IBM. So when I was typing, I made a mistake. Okay, so he did the leadership culture change of a CEO. So he came as a CEO. Massive restructuring, cost cut, right? Strategic shift, service to software, so that they started doing rather than doing service and software. Embracing internet and open system. So it was, I said it was a close. You had to use Lotus and not Excel, not MS Word or like that, but you had to do not Excel even. So they had to do, it's called Lotus. It is almost like Excel, but they can't because that it was so that they had a problem. So you had to go always with the Lotus and Word Perfect. There are a problem with the Word Perfect. I have used and experienced in the past, not now, maybe 35 years back. Financial stabilization. So he started doing, concentrating on this. So in essence, IBM shed its image as a hardware-centric giant, transforming into a more agile. Agile means quick response. He started from a slow company or slow innovation to the speed up, right? So that is agile. You know what is agile, right? Service-oriented technology, power, ready to compete with the modern business. So he made that. He told everybody internally, look here, even though we are giant, but we want to make change or we want to survive, we have to make this happen. So he made internally, made them to be fast to react. Instead, at least if you can't project and do, but at least to react. So that he started making that So transfer into a more agile service oriented instead of mainframe or product orientation, because I said earlier engineer minded, they say our product is good, someone has to buy it. No, but you have to make them feel comfortable to buy, like I said, Dell and IBM PC. That's a different they had it. Okay. So after 90th IBM leadership, he came. Okay. So how did he do? Strategy and organizational change, operational financial management, cultural leadership. These are the things he did. And programmatic, multi-pronged strategy focus on execution, customer-centric, underline the word, and cultural. So this is the change he did. Because you can't do change, or you can't tell someone to make a change. You have to make it happen. Like I said in the first day, there are 3 types of people or 3 types of organization. If you can't make it happen, things won't happen. So here, programmatic, multi-pronged, strategy focus, execution, and customer-centric and cultural transformation. So he did that. Okay. He famously decided against the breaking up company into decision. So advocated at time, archive at IBM integrated capabilities were unique. So he knows there's a strength, and he focused on it and made a change and get it strategic and organizational change, operational financial management. You can read this book if you are interested. Okay, it's written by this one. Who says elephant can't dance? It's a human book, but it's a little old, but still relevant today's 21st century as well. Okay, so that I have put how, and hope you have done it. I'm not going to go through because it's a case, it's not a theory. So you know that. So how he made it? Who says dance and he tell. Okay, change his symbol. He made symbolic change like a relaxing IBM rigid dress code. He changed the code because it's a white collar, right? Famous for white shirt, right? So secret department from all bureaucratic norms. So he was a bureaucratic. I don't do, it's not my duty. So it is my boundary. No, he made a change. It's our duty, not my duty. Right? So culture, change. So now you can see here, each EOs how the market value. So quick this one from the picture. Okay. So from 1922 to 2020. So where 2001, he brought up the company 208 billion. Okay, the value. So that is the change this man did it. By who said elephant can't, or who says elephant can't dance, he made a change, he made it. So that's a learning for you all. Okay. So here the loss 168 billion, 1993, 29 billion, Ryzen, all these strategic shift, operational efficiency. Under CEO of the IBM underwent one most successful corporate turnaround is the agent duty. We discussed about last week agent with the story about a case study about that. So if you read it 2-3 times, you will understand. So I have put very clearly with the figures, with the quantified amount, so you can understand. So here you can see how IBM evolved over a period. Okay, here you can see which how the market value and what where there was average, but he brought up beyond the market value. Okay, and this is the industry analysis. Okay, so this is something about that. So you can see all this, not to memorize, but just to get idea. If someone is interested in learning about how things happen, so figures and charts available. Okay. So if you are doing change, also you have to show it to your people. That is the purpose of here. So you can say if you do this one, or you can project and do document, or you can show the past how we were wrong and how we can make a change. So that's the example. Okay. In 100 years tech economy 2023, how this company profit 2.5 billion. Okay. He brought up to 2.5 billion or 2,515 million. So that is a 2.5 billion. Consulting. So these are the 4 business he started. Software, tech company, mainframe, PC into a software company. Okay. So this is the books, you can read it. Even now there's another new book this guy has written. If you are interested, you can read it, but I am not asking, but not for exam or anything. Okay. So read this, watch this video.
In the early 90s, a giant was teetering on the edge of extinction. We're talking about a titan of technology, a behemoth of business, none other than IBM, the International Business Machines Corporation. This was a company that had once been the very definition of innovation and progress, a synonym for the digital revolution. However, in the dawn of the 90s, a different story was unfolding. IBM was struggling. Story for IBM, far from it. It was merely the... But Gerstner saw the future, and it was not in hardware. It was in services and software. He knew that the world was on the cusp of its potential. The company moved swiftly, embracing the digital revolution and positioning its strategic thinking and the willingness to embrace a comprehensive suite of cloud solutions. Meeting the once a sinking ship, IBM is now sailing strong, riding the waves of innovation and technology. The story of IBM serves as a powerful reminder to us all. No matter how tough the storm, with the right mindset and determination, not only can you weather it, but you can come out stronger on the other side. IBM's story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of adaptability in business. From the brink of extinction to a global powerhouse, IBM's journey is a testament to the transformative power of change. The first lesson to glean from their story is the necessity of evolution. In a rapidly advancing world, businesses must not only keep pace, but anticipate and adapt to changing market conditions. IBM's story also underscores the value of visionary leadership. Steering a sinking ship towards calmer waters requires foresight, strategy, and courage. It is the leaders who understand the importance of innovation and the willingness to make tough decisions that ultimately shape the destiny of their companies. Another key takeaway is the significance of resilience. IBM's turnaround was not an overnight success. It took time, patience, and a relentless drive to overcome obstacles. It's a reminder that success is often born out of struggle, and that resilience is a vital ingredient in the recipe for business survival. Lastly, IBM's journey highlights the importance of relentless innovation. The company didn't just adapt to the digital revolution, it became a driving force behind it. It's a stark reminder that in today's business landscape, those who innovate lead the pack. In the face of adversity, IBM emerged stronger and more resilient. Their story is not just about survival but about the power of transformation and the promise of what can be achieved when a company dares to reinvent itself. And that, dear viewers, is the remarkable story of IBM's turnaround. From the brink of extinction to a beacon of innovation, we've witnessed a journey that truly embodies resilience and transformation. It's our hope that this tale of struggle and success has not only educated you, but also inspired you. For more incredible business stories like this, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to leave a comment below. Until next time, keep learning, keep innovating, and remember, even giants can stumble, but they can also rise again.
Even so you are big, still you can become change. So that's the story of this. It's a huge organization, I said top 10 admired company, but went into trouble because they did adaptation, leadership change, resilient, and digitalization as a driving force, not as a must. It started driving, and now a tech company become a frame, IBM mainframe, PC, now is a software consulting and that. So they went in and even you had to sell the company if you are not good enough to manage. They thought BC is not enough, they sold it. And now rebranded as Lenovo, managed by a Taiwan company. Okay. So who is Gerstner is the profile? So we discussed about change agent. Now you can see who is he. He's a chairman of IBM 1990 to 2000. That was his period. He was there and he did a change. He focused on IBM or keeping IBM together as an integrated company. Detailed in his memory. Who says elephant can't dance? Okay. Okay. Before IBM, he led Jamisco was the president of American Express. So he was there. Graduated from college at Harvard. So you know that the background. I don't know about now, but in those days, if you are a graduate or MBA holder from Harvard, and they are recognized and they are capable. Okay. Okay. So his leadership and refined his own style, not only catch by the philosophy, but by let's just focus on survival and immediate decisive execution. So remember, underline the word survival and immediate. That is important. Decisive execution. He was the right leader at the right time for a company in crisis. So he was there. He brought into as a CEO when the company was in crisis, providing the tough medicine needed to serve the from collapse. So that is why that the current CEO is saying the company has gone through 5 times like a old startup. You know what it means by startup? A company starting by an entrepreneur and then start growing. So every time this company has started, that's why they use the word old startup. So they think we are starting up a new business. right? So that's the way they did it. That is why from a tech company, mainframe, then I went to PC, now a software consulting and gone to AI. So they were keeping, it's an innovation company, but due to the mind and the culture, because I said engineering mindset, because it's a very mathematical and product orientation rather than marketing and customer centric. So this guy came as an outsider, did all these things. Okay. So this is the one we discussed about as a some example of how an agent can do change, even a huge company. So you may have to sell it. And like I said, resilience, adaptation, innovation, and the leadership. So all these can be done by a right leader. So we discuss about a change agent. So change agent is the leader, CEO. So that's the message. Because I shared already, or everyone would have gone through. So there is no need to explain much. So if you have a question, I can explain. Otherwise, I can go for today's session. Any question, please?
No, sir.
Sir, up to now, no.
Can you see that new PowerPoint? Trends in organizational change.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is today's task, the session 4, I think. Okay. So we discussed about how to do, what to do, change management. Then who can do, that is change agent. We discussed about case, foreign case or the international case, IBM. The first lectures we did about targets, but I didn't discuss lot, only about the success. But I can't discuss about their failure, I know. But as a Sri Lankan company, they are not published, so I can't do that. But it's the international company is published, done by research, by scholars. So that's why I was able to share my understanding about the company even failure. But in Sri Lankan kind of scenario, we don't have much research published or not allowed to talk. So I can't talk as a ethics. But I talk about success, so it is in the book and all things discussed. But there were failures as well. So I don't say that Sri Lankan companies are always a success. But you can learn from failure than success. Success much you can't, because you don't know if the failure comes. But here you can see IBM failed 5 times. That the current CEO says. Okay. So if you take a Starbucks, now struggling. Okay. They are charging $4, but the current scenario says McKinsey, the restaurant consumers are moving from takeaway to home food, right? So that's a new change, right? If you are a tea or coffee exporter, now you have to think about it. A Sri Lankan company is exporting tea or coffee, US market, you have to think about your pricing, okay? Because that's the difference going to happen. So now that's the research I have led the article today. So I'm talking about theory and all the, but if you want to be a real change agent, you have to read as and when things happening. And now you know what is US customers are going through. They are not, I can't say inflation, but cost is escalating because of the tax is charging. So that's a different. So if you are in the business, these how to apply the change management, or you can see that Canada completely changed the supply chain system. So you all do public managed procurement and supply chain. So they are changed. They are not depending on America now. So if you are buying something from somewhere, so now the complete your supply chain, the duration, all going to change. So you have to react and change your way you are doing now. So that's a big, so that what we are discussing, teaching is different. When you come to practice, you have to use it, how to use it. That's why I showed the failure and how that 5 times IBM made a change. So you also have to make that change when you are managing or leading your company, right? So now you see Canada has made complete shift of their supply chain. they are not depending on US port now. You would have seen that. He has officially told, we are not part of America, we are Canadian at the World Economic Forum. He has told in front of, and it's like a slapping on the face for Donald Trump, right? So your political things are going in that one. So when you are in the change management, it's going to happen a lot change to Sri Lankan companies who are depending on US and Europe, going to have a big change or challenge, unless otherwise the way they manage the business. Okay, that's a note what I learned or what I observed. So today we are going to talk about current trend based on the last, but I have told a little bit now, things are changing faster. But this is based on the literature I have read, I have prepared, right? So you have to understand that. So I have told in summary what is happening, what is supply chain and what is change. So you have to react or agile or resilient, whatever the word you are, when you are managing your business. Because complete change of supply chain going to happen in the world. You want to see transportation, airport transportation. Today, 3 million tourists have cancelled US visit, right? So, air transport service or maybe that particular business, airline business going to be huge. I don't say loss. They have to make a change now. 3 million tourists going to change. They cancelled the visit to US. That's the today message change. I don't know about accuracy, but I have read in the social media. So now you have to make, you go in the airline business, right? So that is a message. So that is, I'm talking about a new trend, but I'm going to discuss based on the 25 literature available. So that you have to understand my discussion from now.
How to put 9 cows in a...
Daddy, I'm leaving.
Leaving? What do you mean, sweetie? Are you going on a trip?
Yes, a trip to anywhere but here. I'm running away from home.
What? But why, my love? Is everything okay?
No, Daddy, Mommy is mean. She said I have to practice my ABCs for a whole hour before I can watch TV. That's too long. I hate ABCs.
Oh, I see. A serious case of ABC injustice. So you're leaving to find a new family?
No, I'm leaving to find a new mommy. A mommy who understands the importance of TV without homework.
What if we make a deal? You stay, and Daddy helps you practice ABCs like a fun game. Then we watch TV, with a treat after. Don't tell Mommy.
Okay, but if Mommy finds out, I'm leaving, and this time, I'm taking you with me.
So these videos giving a message. So you will see this type of people in your change management. Of course, I have taken from, I think they are using for how to study or how to communicate with the alpha generation. But as you will see this type of people in the future when you lead or manage your organization, and how to convince that father trying to do, right? So you should learn to do that. You can't do all style like Donald Trump doing it now. Okay. And this is just to see how quick you can
8 square boxes. How to put 9 cows in 8 square boxes. We have 9 cows. 9 cows. 9 cows. For you to put 9 cows in 8 square boxes, first you draw the 8 boxes. 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How to put 9 cows in 8 square boxes. Upper part, we put 9. And lower part, we put the cows. 9 cows in 8 square boxes.
Dad.
So you should know how to tell people, communicate this as well, right? So that also required during the change management. project or the task. So this was our task. So I am doing the concluding session for you all. Okay, there will be other lectures by other lecturer. Okay. So we discussed up to now this all. Okay. So today is the trends of change management. So we'll be discussing it a bit. Okay. So managing organizational change, we discussed. So the purpose is to minimize employee resistance. Like you would have seen the child, how he is talking. The mother says study, she says can't, and he is trying to find a new mommy. So that's how people going to reject when you say change. Okay. So you should know how to manage like a father did it. You cannot say do it. So he is convincing and communicating in a way the child can understand. So you may have to see that what stage. There are three types of changes. You get a child, adult, or sort of thing. Okay. So you have to communicate. You would have learned it somewhere in other subject. But anyway, that is not part of that here. I can't do that. So there is a communication strategy also there. Whether you are talking to a child, sometimes some people feel like a child as well. Maybe adult, but you have to communicate. So sometimes you get adult to adult, right? So that sort of thing you would have learning. So these are the 5 things you have to do it. Okay. So we discuss about what I put in red, age and role. So the global change management. Okay. So that now we are in a VCU world. The global business environment in which the companies operate is aptly characterized by volatility. Now you can see very complexity, uncertainty, and ambiguity. So VCU a world they call. So accelerating impact on digitalization AI. In addition to that, AI also happening. So I shared an article. What is Singapore going to do on AI? I don't know whether you all have received it. If not, I think she will be sending it to you all. Please read it, not for the exam, but now Sri Lanka also doing a digitalization process. But you may see how Singapore is approaching the digital minister. Have an interview, but I couldn't download the video. It is a very, very recent one by McKinsey. So please read that article. It would help for the knowledge, not for the exam. Okay. So the rapid advancement of digitalization AI, both products and drivers of globalization, introducing profound organizational challenge, create new business model. So like you can't do the same what you have done. Generate novel risk like cybersecurity and vulnerabilities. So this is the environment you are going to be working, right? Now you see now America and Canada start fighting. They might not go for military war. They may go for this sort of things. So when you are dealing with, and you have to be very careful. Okay. The put core competency. So that is very, very important. Reskilling employees. So before you make a change, you have to reskill it. Okay. Adapt global supply chain strategies, I told. So now Canada has completely changed their supply chain, this one. They have signed agreement with China, allowed 49 to 59,000 electric vehicles at 6%. So completely shut down American automakers to come. Plus, they are refused to accept tomatoes and feet. I don't know about accuracy, but the social media says. So how that America going to manage? And they are cut down supplying their electricity, right? So it's going to be a huge issue, not today, maybe a 3 to 6 month time. So when you started supplying to some other country, like you as a Sri Lankan company exporting, so you had to make that things, how to manage your change. You had to quickly at least react. You couldn't project it. You had to now react it. So adapting global supply chain strategies, continuous disruption. So now it's happening. Globally interconnected, politically fragmented world. Now you see earlier globalization now becoming regionalization. Now Europe is trying to seize the American investment in EU. I don't know the right or wrong. That's what they are talking about. Now Coca-Cola is having a big trouble because of the cost, right? So that is why that social media says, because nothing, I didn't read it from scholars write-up yet. Okay, I'm talking about this one. So this is a trend. So factors influencing organizational change, I have put a picture. So picture top 1,000 word, please read it. I'm not going to go through. So these are the things. So volatility, complexity, uncertainty, and ambiguous. This is the world we are going to be in 20. It has been happening, but now it's going to be very, very tough. So you had to be very, very proactive. At least you have to react fast. That is resilient adaptation, like IBM did it. You need to be in this one. So I have put what is globalization and all. So I'm not going to read it. Okay. So now you see the world was shrinking as per the documentation. I have read it before these things are happening. But now you see Europe is making a regionalization. Same thing like BRIC. You don't know what is BRIC, right? So that we'll discuss about later. Okay. So this is how, who are the actors? Government, international organization like OECD, World Bank, United Nations, ILO. Now United Nations is now helpless. ILO, International Labour Organization, World Trade Organization, they were helping the rate, right? So actors of this one, so I have put here, right? So these are the agencies involved in global business. So according to Ruckman, is one of the leading scholar in the international business. Economic globalization is the growing of interdependence of localization and economic actors across the country. But now it is now in a different scenario, because Donald Trump is trying to put tariff protection, but they were the country started maybe 50 years back. They wanted globalization for their benefit. Now they are not getting benefit. Now they are going back to protectionism, right? Putting tariff. So now deglobalization might happen. So even though the subject going globalization now, so I'm in between, I'm talking about current scenario as well. My slide might have a old one, but I'm talking. So as it is recording, please listen carefully. So here is Ruckman says, so interdependence. So without you, I can't. But now Donald Trump says, you have to depend on me. That's the concept he's trying to put. But now others are fighting against them. They are grouping. So if you say Europe, 21 countries together, European Union has been formed. And they are going to European Parliament. It's a complete regionalization as per theory of international business or globalization business. But it's a deglobalization, like regionalization. Why they form? American market size is 350 million population. But when you take without UK, is 450 million. And after UK removal, I think to 429 or something. I can't remember exactly. 421 million or something. Right? It's a huge, bigger than America. So America will have a problem if they shut down American companies coming. So there's a huge things going to happen. Right? So globalization or deglobalization or regionalization. Right? Anyway, that is the subject. But so now in the change management, now you have to make your things to shoot this one. Okay. So these are the stages as per the theory. So you can become a domestic company. If you take, say now Sri Lankan companies who are doing better, like say LOLC, Kaylee's, they are all over the world, they have subsidiaries. Maybe GRA is called Global Rubber Industries, is on a solid rubber tire for agriculture product, right? DI is a little bit. There are a lot of companies are there, right? Damro in the fashion and furniture, something interior like that. Okay. So you can become a domestic company, you can become an international company, you can become a multinational, you can become a global company, you can become a transnational. If you take McDonald's or Coca-Cola is a transnational. Global company different, right? Multinational company, sometimes you can put Nestle and all here. Okay, because they go for localization, right? Because they see a global company, but think global, act locally. That is their concept. Because they do a lot of modification to suit the local customers as well, right? So that is the Nestle strategy. But if you take a Coca-Cola, not much. It's a transnational or global company. They standardize the product all over the world. Okay. So beyond that, anyway, I have put in red, international company, multinational, global, transnational. So you can when you read it. So stages is that. So domestic, you can become international by exporting. Then you can go and set up a subsidiary in a few countries, right? Then you can go for a global company, more than 50 or 100. Then you transnational. You do everything one size for fit all like that. But Nestle is a different. They do localized. Of course, they think global, but localized for something. If you come to India, okay, they are localized language, sometimes the taste. So they have to modify some other different. If the copy even, they do modify to local this one. Okay, so that is one. So that one I can talk because it's a one-day lecture on globalization. I can't talk, but I'm just giving something. So how to manage change? So how do an international company activities that? So you can do export through an agent. You can do export directly. You can do licensing to somebody, right? So if you take earlier KMAS was doing, Tide is a was an American company. They gave a license or royalty this one to produce detergent. Tide is a reasonably good detergent powder. But then over a period, learn it, and they came as introduced their own one, Diva, right? So now they are, I think now one of the Kaylee subsidiary does it. Okay, shared ownership. You go for a JV, okay, then you go for a like Unilever or just what do you call Nestle is a 100% or main owners of Sri Lankan subsidiary or in other countries like that. So full ownership, the if you take Unilever is 100% owned by Unilever India, sorry, UK. Okay, so that I have put what is joint venture licensing for foreign direct investment, that is you go for full investment JV, or I talk about. So this is how a company can go. So, but when you go for it, you have to change your things. Okay, like I said now, if you are exporting to America tea, now you can see if your tea is consumed by a restaurant customer or whether it's consumed by your customer who consume at home. Now you see consumers are shifting from restaurant to home food. That's the research saying because the cost is cheaper and there's also escalation of cost due to the tariff. 25 research, they are saying 26. I don't know whether I shared article with you or I didn't share, right? But that is they are talking about. Today article they are talking about. So now you have to make a change if you are an export company in Sri Lanka. Okay, so that. Okay, so why do go for globalization? One for market, go for production. If you take a lot of apparel companies came, I'm talking about not companies, they came for the brand given to MAs, brandings and all to get labor. So that is get a production purpose. So globalization of market. Companies are going to India for marketing. So I'm giving two examples. So if a company comes to Sri Lanka, not for marketing, because they can't get much market, we got 22 million. But they are coming, they can get a reasonably, I don't say cheap, reasonable labor compared with US market share, market labor cost. So they are coming here, giving the product in Sri Lanka, maybe MAS or branding, so few other apparel companies are producing, right? So they are coming for production. So they are globalizing. They will have a buying office, so they will have a small office, and they will give orders to few factories, like and do that. So they will go globalization done for production or marketing. If you see Toyota or other automakers or any other companies coming to India for the market, because India there's a restriction you can't bring and they don't want, they have funds goes about. So if you want to buy a Mercedes-Benz, you can buy from India on your Indian rupees. So the factory is available in India, right? So that is, so because of the size and the country's policy, the globalization happened because of the market, because 1.4 billion customers are there. So maybe they'll get 10 million customers. So that's something they can focus. So it is bigger because if you take entire Europe, 450 million. But when you come to UK, sorry, India or China, it is 1.1 and 1.3. So it's a huge. So they are trying to set up their factory and competing in that market, customizing for the purpose, and they are selling it rupees. So the consumer is buying on their own. So not like Sri Lanka, of course there may be a local tax applicable, but not like Sri Lanka, we be importing. So if a dollar, if other country is say $10,000, we are paying $30,000 because we are paying some tax. and conversion rate dollar and all. So that is just to make sure that is why Indian economy is growing at 6.5%, like that all there. Okay. So now why globalization happening? One is to do a access the market or get a production requirement. Sometimes people go for material as well. So material, so that is the 4M, machine man, material and money. Okay. So that purpose, one is here for Sri Lanka. I gave example. People are coming because they can get a reasonable labor cost for apparel and other things. Not much other thing. Okay. Now people are coming for IT. Then BPO, business process outsourcing, because we do a lot of outsourcing for insurance companies and all. They do a lot of back office work. Like you can see, HSPC have their offices, there's a back office. So because we have some high talented people, but compared with the UK salary, Sri Lankan salary reasonable. I don't say cheap. So they are doing it. So why globalization happening? To get a market or get production. So production means that you get 4 M's, right? Machine man, material and money. So out of that one, when they get it, they go for globalization. So these are the drivers of globalization. So market, production and so I have put that in detail. You can read it. Okay. So these organizations, same thing I have taken here. Say labor cost and raw material or anything. So this one. So in 1990, there are 30,000 there, and total number of foreign affiliates 170,000. 2008 was 810. I don't have a current data. So huge multinationals are there. You can see that most of them are those days American. Now it is taken over by Chinese. If you take a current data, of course, it is not related to your subject. I didn't bring that. When I teach international business, I give the statistic. But current status, Chinese number of companies, international companies are more than America now. They're huge. Okay, so Chinese the number one, so number two in the GDP, the big company, the big country in the world, second to America. Now you can see the next slide. So earlier multinational 1960, you have subsidiaries individually self-manage each countries. But now after the globalization, new concept, you can see spare parts and different. So there is no country produce everything at one place. They depend on their subsidiary, different places. Some places they buy goods, some places they do something fabric. If you take a garment, some brands are buying apparel, fabric from China, producing from Sri Lanka, selling all over the world. So now you can see this OTS is an elevator company, I think, right? So they are designing done in some other companies, right? Design. So coming to marketing done in somewhere, here marketing, local market. So there's interconnected subsidiaries. So no one single subsidiary does it 100% of their requirement. So that's the globalization. So that to make it efficiency or effectiveness. Oh, that is the one. Okay. So that is the global competitive configuration today. Here during 1960, they were setting up one company. That company has to do everything they own. But now no. Germany, UK, France, and Italy. Okay. So they are interconnected. So they get some sort of service from different. Now you can see next slide. Boeing 787 produced from so many countries. But its main office may be in US. But you see, all over the world things are coming. So this is the advantage or disadvantage is up to you to decide of globalization. So if you don't manage, so when people are getting up in US, Indians are sleeping, right? Or Sri Lankans are sleeping. So, but then you as an organization, you have to manage the global change. So that is the story of this one. So now Boeing made like from all these countries. So they are different type, different people are working, but you have to manage that. So now you can see that. Okay, how the spare parts to make this Boeing Dreamliner come from different countries. What are the things coming from different countries are there. So that is a picture of lots. So you can understand. So I'm going to the next slide. Okay. Because there is now one thing you have to understand. There is no country origin now. Only the brand. So where made is not. Now Toyota coming from earlier from Japan. Then it came from Thailand. It came from Malaysia. Now it's coming from India. If you take Honda, same, right? If you take all of that, even all, say now, if you take Range Rover, came from UK, now it's going to come from India, because they are setting up a 400 acres factory in India, right? So it's going to come from India because it's owned by Tata Motors. Okay, so this is how the globalization took place. So you should know that. So because of the globalization, what are the change happening? You as this one, you see the lot of women workers are coming into the scene. That you should, the work diversity you have to see. So you should be able to manage that change. So that is a trend now. Globalization, organization must rethink about most effective ways, use of resources, disseminate, gather information, and develop people. Like I said, how Boeing 787 made from all over the world. There are a lot of contribution, but maybe it's coming. So there is no country origin. It's coming from multi countries and made it in. Ultimately, the product would have been made it in one country, but it is coming from different country. There is no ultimate one country origin. That you have to understand. So no, this is why now we are coming to the VUCA word. Globalization amplifies VUCA, that volatility. What is, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. So these are the things. So you have to be agile, strategy thinking and vision, understanding and the clarity is important, and you have to collaborate with competitors even, right? So now you see Europe is going to sign agreement with China, only signing with India, right? India doesn't bother much about America, so he was slowly doing it. Same way Canada did it. Canada signed with China and allowing 49,000. So this all changes so happening. So now maybe American business people, now you have to be differently thinking. If you are doing business with America also, you have to think. So what is the new market going to be? India or China, right? So that's the new things going to happen. In change management is essence, VUCA is not just a description of a difficult word, but call for action for organization to become more resilient, underline the word agile and forward thinking in their approach. So that is the important. You should know this volatile, it is uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, the word. Now you know what is geopolitically happening. So if you are not predicting, is a better way. If not, at least you have to adapt it. That is called resilient or agile. Quick to respond, quick to learn, right? Forward thinking about the future. So approach to strategy and leadership. Like IBM did it 5 times, like an old startup. I'm using a word old startup, not a new startup. It's an old startup. It's an old company, but every time they think as a startup company. And that is why they are surviving 150 years. Okay. And so change. So in a VUCA world, you should be resilient, agile, forward thinking with a proper leadership style. We discuss about. Okay. I talk about what is Gessner leadership in IBM. Okay. So please go back to that case study and read it. Read the second lectures of what are the leadership I suggested, transformational leadership, right? So because it's a very 2-hour lectures, we can't do much. So already 3-5, right? So I'm trying to give some information. It's up to you to read it. It's the distant learning. So in a VUCA world, it's called volatile, complexity, uncertainty, and ambiguity. You should be agile, resilient, forward thinking. Then you have to be adaptable, right? Resilient, agile mean quick to learn and adaptability, right? So these are the things important in the world. So change management, the current trend. Okay, we discuss about first like what to do, how to do, when to do, right? And who will do. So we discuss about now what's the trend, what is the environment we are going to live or you are going to do. And I talk about, in addition to the exiting literature, what is happening now, like World Economic Forum. So if you are knowing that one, you can log on to World Economic Forum website and learn about now current what is happening, because now the conference is going on or finished, I don't know, it was going on live. right? You can read lot on their website. Okay, so if you want to know about what is happening in the world, what type of skill they are expecting, because normally they create some sort of document, what's the skill requirement for 2030. Okay, so they are available. Okay, I do share with my leadership student, but not with here because I don't have time. Okay, so in a VUCA world, you have to be resilient, agile, and forward thinking with a strategic right leadership and change. So this is the essential in the current scenario of business environment, or whether it's a political evil. Okay. So this is what is about something about VCU. Okay. So how to manage in the VUCA world, a small clip. Please watch.
Welcome everyone, I'm Professor Dag Madsen. In this video, we will take a quick look at VUCA, a trendy managerial acronym. In our ever-evolving world, uncertainty is a constant. It is in this context that the concept of VUCA has gained prominence. But what exactly is VUCA? VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It is a framework that originated in the military, used to evaluate the challenging dynamics of a situation. Volatility represents the pace of change. It's about the speed of forces and events coming at us, fast and furious, often without warning. Uncertainty relates to the lack of predictability, a prospect for surprise, and an awareness of issues without understanding their impact. Complexity refers to a multitude of forces, the daunting intricacies of issues, and the potential for chaos. It's about the multiplicity of options and potential outcomes. Finally, ambiguity. It defines the haziness of reality, the potential for misreads. It's about the unknowns, the gray areas, and the lack of clarity. Together, these elements make up the VUCA world, a world that is challenging but also full of opportunities for those who can navigate it effectively. Grasping the VUCA concept is crucial for leaders and organizations. It enables them to anticipate challenges, adapt quickly, and make informed decisions, setting them up for success.
So that they are calling as VUCA, so that you can see that. And there's another clip, different point of view.
Are you fit to lead in a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world? 6 critical leadership traits to help you lead your team more effectively during uncertain times. If you are skeptical that we live in a VUCA world, this year's COVID-19 pandemic and the global response to it may have reshaped your thoughts. Leading teams that have fractured into remote and virtual groups requires rapid development of a distinct set of leadership skills. In the VUCA world, nothing can be taken for granted. Your markets, customers, supplies, and regulations are volatile and complex. Uncertainty breeds ambiguity. These factors collide to create a range of emotional responses from employees who are concerned for their futures. Do you have the skill set and characteristics to lead your team and navigate it through the unprecedented and uncharted VUCA world? 6 keys for leaders in a VUCA world. As your team becomes virtual and more of your work is completed online, the challenges come more sharply into focus. People may feel isolated. They may find it difficult to manage their tasks and time more effectively. Collaboration becomes more complex. Morale can quickly turn south. How you lead your team in an online VUCA world will determine its performance. Here are 6 key leadership skills to maintain morale and motivate peak performance. 1. Demonstrate objectivity. A slip in performance can be consequential of frustration and anxiety. Though the market is constantly changing, people's creativity and ability are still present. Good leaders resist making emotional, subjective decisions. Instead, they remain objective, helping people to understand the nature of their problems and find solutions to them. 2. Be confident. Confidence is essential to performance. As Henry Ford once said, "If you believe you can, then you will." A leader who is confident about the future will help people to remain resilient through challenging conditions. When the volatility subsides, confident teams will take advantage most readily. 3. Be empathetic. In the VUCA world, change affects individuals differently. Leaders must adapt their response accordingly. Sometimes your people will act out of character. Understand that this is the result of the ambiguous nature of the world around them and the complex nature of that ambiguity. By seeing the world from an employee's point of view, you will learn what motivates them and be able to develop individualized development strategies. Walk a mile in their shoes and show you care. 4. Demonstrate integrity. You are all in this together. The same challenges face you all. Be honest with yourself and your team. Encourage others to share their fears openly and help by engaging and providing coaching through uncertainty. 5. Facilitate realistic expectations. As a leader, your job is to facilitate your team and individuals within it to do the best work they can. Ensure that you speak to your people to identify and agree on realistic targets. There is nothing more demotivational than a target that cannot be met. Targets should be discussed frequently and adjusted as you navigate challenging market conditions. 6. Be democratic and practice engagement. People don't destroy what they create. Engage your people in meaningful conversations that help them understand the challenges faced by all, themselves, their colleagues, the organization, and you. Discuss possible solutions to these challenges and solicit feedback. When joint decisions are and enacted, you will benefit from the joint sense of purpose and set of collective goals that help inspire the team. Creative solutions are more likely, and motivation to find those solutions and make them work is high when solutions are owned by the team. Are you ready to lead in the VUCA world? The world has shifted in recent months. Fewer leaders are fully equipped for the challenges this shift has produced. Are you ready to lead in the VUCA world? Take this rising to the challenge leadership.
Welcome, everyone.
So remember these 6 skills about the leadership to manage VUCA world for your examination. Okay, someone asked in the first lecture, what are the questions? So I have just given some ideas. So you might get a scenario. So remember that it would be helpful, the particular video. Okay. So what kind of leadership management changes? So that leadership, so we discuss about 21st century leadership, we discuss about. So you have to relate, create, instigate change. That means 21st century leadership is agile. So what do you mean by agility? Quick to respond. Unless you respond, that's the 21st century leadership requirement for a VUCA leadership. So you would have seen that 6 skill. So that please understand that. So how these artists adapt rapidly, relate, create, and instigate change. So you should be able to relate, create, and instigate change. So that is very, very important for a 21st century leadership as a change agent to manage VUCA world, because that's the current trend in the business. So if you want to manage a change, you should know what is about VUCA and what type of skill. So previous video, a 6 skill, remember both the exam as well. You might get a scenario and you might be able to explain that. So what is the 21st century leadership? We discussed in the second lecture, but here I'm talking about 21st century leadership equal to agility. That is quick to respond, quick to learn, and sort of things, right? That 6 skill. To get that 6 skill, you can't take 5 years. Okay, so you are a leader already, but you have to learn how to respond quickly, how to predict. That is very, very important. That's called sensing, right? So all these things you should know. So the video was clear and you were hearing the sound clearly, correct? Please respond. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So agile means, as per Oxford Dictionary, able to move quickly, like I said, and easily. You don't need to do hard work. You should know how to tell them and how to do it. Like a Ken showing how it's done. I'm referring to the picture, the last lecture. Rather than telling do it, you have to show how it's done. So you should have a skill and the capability to do it and show. That is how it's done. If you are a teller, then you are a manager. You cannot lead change. So you should understand that. That's called agile means, as per Oxford Dictionary, able to move quickly and easily, able to think quickly as well. You have to think as well, and in an intelligent way. An agile mind and the brain. So this is the very 20th century leadership requirement. I showed you all 1980, one company advertised 1990, during 1990s, how the CEO they wanted. I put 10 type of people in the head. So CEO is a unique, the leader is a unique person. But everyone can be a leader. Degree of leadership vary. So I'm not saying everyone, no one, everyone. So only one person is a leader. No, everyone can be a leader, but degree of leadership vary based on your agile and other things. Okay, characters and a sort of thing. So everyone can be a leader. Leaders are born. Some people say leaders can be made. The recent scholars are saying, or research says. So leaders can be made. I don't say leaders are born. Okay, there are 30%, 70% are made. The born leaders are made as a great leaders. I'm making a statement. Born leaders are made as a great leaders, right? So Steve Jobs, Microsoft, Bill Gates, they're all born leaders, but they are made great leaders because they learn, right? So there's some leaders are not born, but you can make them as leaders. Okay, so that's two things. So how you are agile enough, then your degree of leadership vary. That means the effectiveness of leadership. Okay, so that is enough, I think. So if anything, please ask. I can explain. Otherwise, so then other video on how to manage the current VCU. So this all simply I can summarize agile. If you are agile enough, you can get all these things done. So you should know how to do that. So now influence of global organization change, speed, complexity, and scope of change are very, very fast. So that is one. Involve adaptive change management to diverse culture. Like I said, if you are in the global business, or you are working for a, say you are working for a Nestle, you want to climb up to a ladder, going to a CEO, right? They don't put you just at the, if you work in Sri Lanka, you don't get CEO. They'll put you to some other country as well. Okay, so you have to work like that. And they climate, they do crossing the country. They ask you to work some other places, 2-3 places. Then if you are comfortable to work with the cross culture, then they make it, because you have to deal with other part of the world when you produce things. So that you have to do. Technological advancement, increased international competition, organizations to be more flexible, culturally sensitive, strategically integrated. These are the things is very, very essential when you manage change global organizations. Okay. It got proactive, so that is again adaptable approach. Don't accommodate. because then you lose your uniqueness. So I'm not saying ask you to accommodate, adapt it. Okay, that is why they say think globally, act locally. The Nestle does it. Okay, diverse culture, legal. There are legal requirements also. Economic environment. Okay, so it requires a proactive, adaptive approach to managing the transition across diverse culture, legal, and so if you are managing a global organization or change in the global, these are the things. It's a basic requirement for essential. Okay. So that I have put some pictures and something, so I don't need to. So supply chain innovation, so impact of globalization on change management, that all I already explained. So this all just for knowledge, you can read it. Global trend change management, culture, current and the future, integration of AI, data analytics. Okay, a normal accountant can't work forever now. Okay, so now they are saying now chief financial officer. I think they are going to rename chief future officer. That's the chief financial officer going to be in the future. I think the discussion going on. Currently, an accountant, a higher position instead of finance director. The main companies are big companies are calling or designating as chief financial officer. Now, after the AI and business analytics come, that CFO, they want to keep the abbreviation as that. They want to make it a chief future officer, because he's not going to be a number cruncher like what has happened to past, but he has to go talk about the future. So he has to be analytic with the AI. So if an accountant cannot work with AI or how to manage AI, he will become obsolete. So that's a change as a person you have to do. Same thing in the supply chain. If you are managing procurement or purchasing of a function, you should be familiar with integration of AI, data analytics, adaptation of agile methodologies, prioritization of employee experience, well-being is important. Development of change allied, agile leadership. So you have to develop quick to and easy to move like that. So I told about Oxford Dictionary interpretation of what do you mean by agile or agility. So this is the change management center of excellence, the current or even the future. These trends highlight the move toward more flexible data informed people-centric. People-centric, underline the word. Because AI cannot do a lot. AI doesn't have feeling or anything. It's only knowledge-based. And AI cannot replace leadership. Remember, I don't know about maybe in 10, 30 years, but for time being, AI can help decision-making and analysis faster than a human thinking, because human has to go through a lot of document, but AI has the capability of accessing and analyzing data quickly, but the decision is by you, because you only has the intelligence. That means you are talking about your emotional intelligence. That is artificial intelligence. So still the leadership cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence. That please remember. So any other thing change, so, but you should be a human centric still. But you should know how to use AI for your change. Okay. So well-being of the and develop, and so trends move towards flexible data info and people-centric approach to change, acknowledging that the concern adaptation is that's important, not accommodation, adaptation, new normal in the global environment. That's a requirement as a change manager or change agent or a CEO of an organization, whether it's a government or private, you should know. And you should develop the skill of that. In the essence of the future, the global change management is about mastering the blend of technology precision and human insight and adaptability. Again, adaptability, transforming disruption. Like now, Canadian Prime Minister did it without fighting with Donald Trump. Now he's saying after doing it, he has made a supply chain change and he's not going to depend on American port, because it was most of the things are going for that one. They were paying tax and all, right? It will increase it. But now they are set, and he's saying we are Canadian, not part American. We are not Canadian. Again, we are saying we are Canadian. So that's the way you have to transform rather than fighting. Okay, adaptability transform disruption into a strategic advantage, right? So that is a must. So is a global trend, the future. So some 2020 or beyond, some these are the things. One of the leading authority on change management consulting firm, he's saying technology 37%, regulatory compliance 9%, and environmental sustainability is 9%. In the when you do make change, these are the factors contribute the percentage wise. They are research choice. Okay, so that is up to you to maybe country to country. It might get changed. It might vary because the knowledge and cultural difference might happen. But it's generally they are saying technology and digital transformation impact 37%, regulatory changes 9%. Like say now, if you don't know whether familiar with that one, during President Sirisena time, he brought a tax on sugar. So you had to disclose in your pack as a regulatory record, right? Cut the sugar content. Like if you take say Milo, you had to put that he was saying that people are getting diabetes, and so when people can be informed, say rather than say not to consume Milo, but people know this is sugar, it contains so much. So then already came out and this is the content should be there for a human consumption. So that sort of regulation come. So that he said impact around 9%. Environmental sustainability, like say you cannot make emissions. Say you have a car, you have to do every time testing, right? So every year before go for your renewal of your license, that means the annual tax like this one. So you have to go for a emission test, like the climate and also that are some sort of regulation come. Environmental sustainability, talent retention and turnover. So by moving your employees or losing by effect. So unless you manage that sort of thing. The cultural organizational change 9%. So these are the combination of that you had to identify. In that there are some other things. So top change management trends add up. So you can see that, but I'm not going to talk about. Okay, emerging change in change management. Center for strategy people nudge about the practice continuous adaptation, get digital. So nothing is almost again a repeat of what I have been talking. But please remember, it's a different authority like PricewaterhouseCoopers is one of the leading, the big four they call, right? Ernst and Young, KPMG, Deloitte and PwC. They are big four. This one they came out. Is a PricewaterhouseCoopers saying these are the things, because they are a leading consulting firm plus audit firm. They are talking about 6 things you should know about the future trend. So it's a different things that are happening. Okay, so this is something about like what sort of percentage. So you don't remember, but for your knowledge purpose. Okay. Okay. So emerging, this is like I said, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Then talking about, sorry, I think it's a duplication. I will delete it before upload it. Okay, so I by mistake. Yeah, so it's a mistake. So how to implement change management at the global scale? What is globalization? Plan change management globally, implement local. Right? So you can't do it once. So you identify a big map. I'm repeating. So you how do you manage global? So you have 300 you have 990 countries. You have your subsidiary. You have headquarters in UK or US. So you change. Then what do you want at overall change? Then you have to change first the local. You can't do it overall everything at once. So that's a plan change, manage globally, implement local. So you have to do it. Okay, if you want to take a product change, what you have to do it? Like a video, I don't know whether I showed you all. Yes, I showed you all. I think a video how Fair and Lovely change to Glow and Lovely, because they know it affects American and Sri Lanka Indian market, because it doesn't whiten your skin, only glow and glow your skin, right? So they made a mistake in the communication. They rightly identified what need to be changed, and they made a change. So they made it in US and America, right? So that, so 3 key implementing change, secure executive sponsorship. So change cannot be done without top management sponsorship. That is very, very essential. Build internal competencies. So like I said, you have to build the talent, agility, forward thinking, all what we discussed in the previous slides. Okay, build common language to change. Not about English or anything, but why are we doing it? What is the purpose? How do you do it? It has to be communicated rightly throughout the organization, throughout the world, if you are managing globally. right? So throughout the world, I mean, your organization where is located. So these are the three things in implementing change at a global scale. How do you implement change management into global scale? So plan globally, adapt locally, and so that something I said like Nestle, what does it? Secure, align, execute sponsorship, build dedicated global change team, right? We have to get a global team, then local team. Communicate with the clarity and empathy. Empathy very, very essential. Remember empathy, right? Provide comprehensive training and support. Measure and review. So you have to do some sort of measuring. If there's a variation, you have to do intervention. Of course, I did teach you intervention tool. I don't know whether I'll have the lecturer touch it because that was not part of my this one. So there are intervention to be done. When you are doing a change, if there is a deviation from your change plan, you have to do intervention. That there are intervention tools available. I may not have time to discuss it. Measure and reinforce so that by based on that intervention, make sure that your things are moved. Like I said, Mintzberg said the two types of change, emergent and that plan change. So if there's a plan change is deviating and there's a unforeseen situation arise, you have to have an emergent change plan to keep the change going on. So that's one. Go back to the first lecture and see what I may talk about planned and unplanned change strategy recommended by Mintzberg. Okay. By following these integrated steps, organization can navigate the complexities of global change. I talk about global change, turning potential disruption into successful transformation. It is simply easy to tell, but difficult. But that's the reason I talk about that 30 slide IBM, but I discussed so fast. Please go through again and again. I have given PowerPoint as well as now these videos, now the recorded video, you'll get it. So you can see it 2-3 times, then you can learn. Okay. Global score is that. So this is a pilot program. So this is so I'm going step by step. So you can read it. I'm not going to do implement. So what are the executive sponsorship you have to have it. Okay. So if you are doing that Latin America, Asia Pacific, ideally all. Why change matter? So sponsorship team should know that clearly why you are doing it. I have put some what you call here picture that give steps. Okay. Build dedicated global team. How to set up? Team is important, right? Forming a team, forming, storming, performing like that. You know the fourth this one. Empower local champion. Define roles and responsibility that you have to do it in this one. So build internal competencies. That is the we discussed about the past leadership, agility, adaptability, and forward thinking. The leadership should learn, and plus that 6 skill talk about in the video. Okay. And how do you communicate? I said empathy is important, right? If you are a recipient of the communication, how do you feel? Like that you have to feel it when you communicate to others. So you should think about that empathy. Okay. So that establish a feedback loop. So you should create a loop. So we put like a suggestion box or whatever like that. Okay. Comprehensive training, how to do tailored and continuous support, right? So that you would learn it in your HR. So I'm just listing so that I don't need to talk about it. So develop, target, measure, reinforce. Measuring change, dimension, and simplify. So I have given two small picture. So it will give some idea about how do you measure and what is. I listed 6 things. Now I am giving the detail. KPI, key performance indicators. Celebrate short-term win because that create a morale and build them to be create trust. Your change you are doing it, and then they will be part of and they will come along with you. So that is a very, very integrated into the culture. So they will the new culture, because the human being is to go back to what I have been doing it. Why should I do like that? Mind create. But if you do some sort of celebration, we have done it. We can do it like you have to give some push to them, and then it's boost to them. Then it will become moral and it goes beyond success. Then they will come along with your path and where you want to lead. So that is the measuring reinforcement and KPI. KPI will give an idea where you want to be and where are you now. And if there's a gap, like I said, you have to do intervention. So how do you change so that these the simple things define structure, define impact, and plan, act, and God things. The three bases. So this is the summary of this one. And this is the interview, but anyway, I'm not going to put that. I have no time. So change management diagram. If you are doing an individual journey at car model, if you are project plan design PDDS is this one, organizational change strategy plan mission. So you can use this approach diagram. Okay, if you want to change individual, project life cycle, and change management, organization change, strategy, prepare for change, manage the change, measure. So this one we discussed. This also we discussed a little bit. This is not part of our lecture, but anyway, this is one of the diagram I have copied from social media. So you can ignore for time being, because that is good for if you are doing a project, or if you are a software person or software team manager or a project manager. This should help them to do it. That is project management. But we didn't discuss about project management. We discussed about change management and personal change. So if you are trying to change a personal person over your own, so you have to do this ADKAR model. So go back to the first lecture. What is ADKAR model? There are 8 models. We discussed about ADKAR model. Then organization, prepare that 5 change, then plan and sustain change. We discussed. And who does the change? Change agent. How to measure? All we discussed. Whether it's a local or international or global, we discussed up to now. Okay. So just to do that small quick this one. What is inclusive marketing? Inclusive marketing, because you should know that this one. So the dialogue in the Sri Lanka or Cargill, inclusive marketing company, they made a change, and I suggest or urge you all to go through Dialogue website and see their vision statement, right? Then you will know they want to say we want to make communication is avoidable, right? So that's the mission statement when they were started. They want to say 1,000 connection. That's the way they started, right? MTN network or Maharaja network, they started. The former CEO, not current CEO, former CEO was there, and they want to start only 1,000 customers, but now they are 11 plus million customers. Okay, so how they made it? They made communication or mobile avoidable. They create a product or change the mobile industry by reloading, like having tea. When you have 20 rupees, that's where they started. Of course, now 99 rupees plus or 199. When they were starting, if you have 20 rupees, if you have a phone, you can go to, you should have a SIM card. You can go to a communication those days. Now anywhere, you can go and give the 20 rupees. You will be connected. You can talk, like having a tea. So that made avoidable, not reduce the price. Please make sure that that's inclusive marketing. They made it. Okay. So please understand. So that's a change. Dialogue did it. Of course, others copy. That is the that's the change. Dialogue did it. That's the reason they were able to make 11 plus million connection. Because mobile is not luxury. Of course, there are luxury. You have a product, but mobile is that means communication, not a luxury. Okay, if roaming is a luxury, right? So if you are talking in Paris, so they targeted 5 type of customers. So I don't know whether I have that video. So that's the change. Dialogue did it as an inclusive marketing company in Sri Lanka, right? So so they made it. They didn't do segmentation, right? Like Samsung, you compare with the iPhone, right? iPhone is targeted some sort of segment, but if you take Samsung S series to compete with iPhone, there are other series and other mobile available to compete with others. So you take Samsung, it cater all varieties of customers. It's an inclusive marketing company. Same way Dialogue. they made it affordable. Okay, so here I have just put it. So how you can read it, I'm not going to make talk about. Initial 1,000 connection, now they are around 11 plus million connection. Okay, so video and dialogue, now you can see how they advertise and show it their mobile is affordable and inclusive marketing. Quickly you can see.
ස්තුති ක්‍රියාශ්නි මෙනවිය.
நன்றி திரு சிவகுமாரன்.
Thank you, Mr. Hamid.
ස්තුති ප්‍රදර්ශනී මහත්මිය.
Thank you, Mr. Silva.
ස්තුති රාජසිංහ මහත්මිය. And thank you to over 3 million Sri Lankans who chose us. You have made us the #1 network in Sri Lanka. Talent GSM, the future today.
So now you can see who are there, and is there's a mobile available to everybody. A lady in the farmland, 3-wheel driver, a CEO in Paris, and a retired man in the East is there, and a young girl. So they are targeting, not targeting, they are giving, making the communication, mobile is for everybody. But they have a different product. You have a roaming, the CEO uses when you go to Paris. That's a discussion. So you can see, so how do you become a change? So they made mobile available by reload, that farm lady or somebody else in the 3-wheeler people can use a small phone by using 20. That's where they started. Okay, so that's a change. Dialogue did it, inclusive marketing. So you as an organization change manager can do, right? Here you can see Nestle has gone, and these are marketing CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, telling they are training a brand assistant now by AI. Okay, so you will see that the change happening, how AI is reshaping the market or business. I think it's a quick clip. You can see that.
AI is rapidly becoming an integral part of our work at Nestlé, and we recognize the immense potential it holds for our marketing teams. Nestlé's extensive portfolio of brands is driven by a team of thousands of marketers across nearly every country in the world. They work hand in hand with our creative agency partners and our Psycho to core content hub. This tool is designed to facilitate brand and category knowledge.
Fully grasp the potential of generative AI for our brands, we need to store and leverage our 3,000 brand strategic documents and campaign toolkits and safely integrate them with powerful Gen AI tech in one secure place. To create Nestlé's unique brand assistant enabled by Content Hub, we've partnered with Psycho and Microsoft innovation teams over the last year to pilot and leverage the power of Gen AI with Nestlé brand guidelines and toolkits. We trained the AI brand assistant with our strategic brand guidelines, our campaign toolkits and brand assets, including text, images, and videos from our brand portals. This powerful assistant will transform the way we access our brand knowledge because it will enable our brand managers and creative partners to efficiently retrieve, organize, and summarize information about our brands, providing them with the knowledge they need at their fingertips. Imagine being able to ask, "I'm new to the brand. Can you tell me the approved colors of Nescafe?" Or, "I want to know more about Nescafe. What information do you have on the brand history and archaeology?" Our brand assistant will provide instant answers, ensuring that our brand managers are equipped with the knowledge they require to make informed decisions. Welcome to the future of content operations at Nestlé.
So now how how the AI is reshaping the change. So are you ready? Are you prepared? So the leader should be prepared. So the CEO no need to know about AI, but he should prepare to make a change. So here, Chief Marketing Officer telling about how they are training now to become an AI brand assistant. So you should be prepared in the global scale what is happening. That's this one.
So as a futurist of sorts,
okay, that I have so many
factory
that I am
floors.
not going to go through. Okay, so that I am omitting. So as a change agent or a change management, you should feeling this. But you may have to go through this. I can't, I don't, I can't, I want to do it. How can I do it? I am going to do, I can do it, I did it. So this type of things will happen when you make a change. So that's a summary of change. So I stop with that one. I have other quick case study. Unless you have any question. Any question on this discussion?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Did you all read that? What is Nokia doing now? Anyone can tell? Currently, Nokia is doing what? Can you tell that? Anyone? So you all read it. I don't know. So I am going to read it. Don't blame me.
They are going to shift into network infrastructure.
They are no more a mobile company, right?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, I've just quickly, I'm doing that. I have 15 minutes, I think enough. So please read it. Read that slide what I have shared. Plus, listen to this video of our recording. So it will get, okay. So this is the agenda. This video is creating, there's a need for a change for a person to use mobile car phone. That's how this innovation done, right? So the change is done. So there's a telephone, there's a booth, but he didn't have a coins. So how they showed, and they started mobile phone in the car, right? Not a mobile, but not this one, the car, right? So they showed because you don't have coins, but other person going. So they created a need by this video. It's a very innovative company, but went into trouble still. Okay. So it was a paper mill. Okay. I'm not going to through hope you already read it. It's a paper mill. Went into a wire and electric company, right? Okay. So this is there. So now you can see that.
In the cold forests of Finland, a humble paper mill was founded, the beginning of Nokia's remarkable journey. Founded by Fredrik Idestam, Nokia started as a paper manufacturing company not in technology, but in timber and trade. Through decades, Nokia merged with cable and rubber companies, forming a diverse industrial powerhouse.
By the 1960s, Nokia entered the world of electronics and communications, a bold step toward innovation.
In the 1970s, Nokia pioneered mobile communication, building the foundation of global connectivity.
Nokia's first mobile phones arrived, big, bold, and revolutionary. Finland had entered the tech age.
The 1990s brought the GSM revolution. Nokia became a symbol of innovation and reliability worldwide.
The Nokia 3310 became a global icon, simple, strong, and loved by millions. By the early 2000s, Nokia ruled the world. Over 1 billion devices connected humanity. At its peak, Nokia's market value crossed $300 billion, making it the most valuable company in Europe. But change was coming. Smartphones arrived, and Nokia was slow to adapt.
Apple and Android redefined technology forms, while Nokia's Symbian system fell behind.
Leadership struggles and delayed innovation led to Nokia's steep decline. In 2011, Nokia partnered with Microsoft, a desperate attempt to stay alive in the smartphone race.
But the deal couldn't save it all. Nokia's phone division collapsed by 2014.
But Nokia refused to vanish. It reinvented itself as a leader in telecom networks and 5G technology.
We're seeing interference near the 3.5 gigahertz band. Adjust the filter settings on the signal generator. Confirm the output power is stable now.
In 2025, Nokia focuses on AI-driven networks, sustainability, and innovation for the future. From humble beginnings to global fame and back again, Nokia's story reminds us that innovation never sleeps.
So it's a paper mill, rubber, then we need mobile innovating company or pioneers. Then went into trouble. Now they sold the mobile, okay, even on licensing to the somebody. Of course, they made a strategy misstep with Microsoft. Instead of selecting Android as an operating system, went into MS Office, then went into a trouble, right? So that's the reason. Then they sold it and all. So now, new CEO came and did a change as a technology company and 5G, 6G plus their main focus on network collaboration. So they have made it that, and they made a lot of takeover and divesting all. Okay. So this is a summary of that. Hope you would have read it already. I'm not going to go through because I have only 10 minutes. Okay. So it was a 40% market, but went into trouble, huge loss, right? Okay. So that you can see that. And so they made a change in the, because that's why I put these two, this one. It was the connecting people. Now the connecting people removed because the Nokia is no more a mobile phone company. So they have changed the Nokia logo also. Because that also you have to do it. I can remember I showed you all how Commercial Bank and others made a change in the logo as well in Sri Lankan context. Okay. This is a 150 years innovation company, but still sometimes they went and stuck with the innovation or slow down the innovation or failed to respond to the market innovation. Like Steve Jobs did it, but they were not, they were stick to the old technology. That's why I said past success is an enemy of the future. They were depending on their old technology and their old operating system. That was a mistake. So that's a history of this 150 years. So I'm skipping, but if you require, you can read it. There's nothing for exam. Okay. This is a evolution of their product from 1865 to 2001. Okay. So here the short summary of their era. Nokia phone era, 2007 to 2007 completely they got. 2015 they were starting some sort of a reorganization. They identified there's a need to be changed. 2014 they recognized the need for a change. Okay, they exited from mobile phone. Okay, 2020-25 they did a complete restructuring and did a change. So this is a one slide summary. I can stop it, but I have a lot of other slides. I'm not going to read it. If you are interested, you can read it. Okay. Okay. So how the Nibak, and this was the golden era, failed to recognize. So I said they have failed to recognize when the Steve Jobs coming out with the mobile touch phone with the Android and they own this system. But these people are thinking we have been doing it, and why should we change or like that? But they understood change, recognize the need for change, understood and what need to be changed. They understood what need to be changed as well because they are skilled and capable on networking that. So they concentrate on networking. They are network provider. Like in Sri Lanka, most of the mobile service providers are using their network tower. Okay, they are leading network. Even 6G they are going now. Not only 5G, 6G. Okay. So this is the story of that one. I'm not going to discuss. Okay. So
once upon a time, Nokia was the absolute king of mobile phones. Their devices were everywhere, from your pocket to boardrooms to playgrounds. They had 40% of the global markets. Played Snake for hours. Technology changed fast, went all in. Nokia? stuck with Nokia blinked. By the share collapsed in shock. What if Nokia had jumped on the pockets today?
So this video talking about how they lost the market share to Samsung because they were adopting Android operating system with the touch phone and without physical key, giving more space to the person to view the screen instead of using that physical key, reducing the this one. So that plus some other advantage. But Nokia was stick to their old technology, thinking the past successes. But I am again telling past success would be a enemy of the future. Unless otherwise you change and adapt, instead of accommodating, adapt and adaptability. So Nokia failed to do that. That was the reason they went out of the market, lost the 40% market. It was one time 40% of the world market on the mobile share, market share. Okay. So this is some, this one, so you can read it. Okay. So that is they are talking about their story here. That diagram shows you how market and operating system, but they were not concentrated, they are ignoring. Okay. So here you can see where Nokia market, where they were dropping to 5.8%. When Samsung went into 30, Apple went into 19, others 39, BlackBerry came to 5%. Okay. Of course, still by BlackBerry having because of their what you call security in American is a American born this one. So for the security, almost every government organization use BlackBerry. Even Sri Lanka, it was a good phone, but they didn't respond to the change. So that, but you can see here, Apple and Samsung how the market 2012 they captured, right? So here 2010 it was 40%, others capturing. So that picture gives you how if you fail to respond to the change, how do you lose your market share or business? That picture shows you. But here I don't want to discuss. So it's a detail of the timeline. So I'm not going to go through.
Remember these? Nokia was the king of mobile phones in the early 2000s. Apple changed the game with the Nokia stuck to their old designs and Android became popular. In a last lead, and by 2014, Nokia's phone business was sold to Microsoft. Nokia's fall is a reminder.
So Nokia sold to the Microsoft, then they Microsoft Lumia, then they sold it as a Lumia. So without Microsoft, they removed the Microsoft and sold it to some other company. I think now I don't know who's using that brand. Okay, this is the high risk gamble. I said Nokia from mainstream and is a competitor Samsung, and also that's the story we discussed. Okay, please read it carefully. Here the picture shows how operating system changing in the mobile market, but completely ignoring the change happening in the market, depending on the old technology, and same time a strategy mistake of going with the Microsoft. Another mistake Nokia did it. So that's another strategy mistake Nokia did it. So they went out of the market. So they went into huge, that is strategy misstep. So that is the video here. So that is about market was going. Android market, you can see here Android market is increasing and Apple is going, but Nokia not bothered about it. That's the reason fall out of the market. Okay? So that's why I'm saying that you have to be very agile, overthinking, adaptable leadership. So that's not there. Then you will go out of the market, become obsolete. That's the story of Nokia. Okay. Here you can see the CEO come and say, we didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong, but he failed to recognize the need for a change. So he didn't do it. So that's why they lost to the Nokia. Here Nokia took Nokia here way out of the market and 47% Samsung in 2012. So that's the story. Okay. So this is the Nokia, how this was moving around. So that after selling that one, 2020, there was a turnaround. There's a sign of turnaround. They started, they understood 2020. Okay. So that is this one, the inevitable exit of selling device after that. Okay. So pivot that business transfer. So they, instead of going with the business to consumer, like selling mobile to the customer. They are selling. They wanted to change their work from selling mobile to selling tower. Towers they are selling to dial-up or Mobitel here. Like that in the world, they started selling to business. So change the approach business model to business instead of business to B2C. So they changed from B to C to B2B. So they went and they were very skilled and they were technologically capable. So they went into rebirth started. Instead of going to B2C, they went into B2B, started selling or mobilizing, focusing on technology. That is on that tower and other things. Okay. So the board of directors brought this Becca landmark or somebody. Okay. So that's the person made a change 2020 to 25. Okay. So he brought up that change needed. Okay. So please read it. And structural design and strategic basing out, reset, accelerate, scale. I said that 20th century leadership requirement in that normal discussion. So cultural brand transformation. It is the transformation of, instead of connecting people, they went into business B2C to B2B. So please understand, B2C means business to consumer, but here business to business. So selling their tower to Dialog or Mobitel, not to the Mr. Pereira. Then earlier they were selling mobile phone to Mr. Pereira, but here they changed differently. Okay, structural understanding, decentralization. So read it. It's only for a discussion. So they accelerated. Reset 21, accelerate 2023, scale AI super cycle. They went into that. Okay. So recognize B2B future. So I already told. Brand identity 23. They came out with the new brand. This one. Give me 5 minutes. I'll finish it. I'll be more slide. Okay. So AI super cycle. So this is the Nokia went through over these 150 years or 100 years. They started as a paper, then they went through, and Nokia, the current Nokia brand is 23 to today. This is the one without connecting people. Okay. So here you can see that how that changed, right? So here about that new brand purpose and that.
In other global news, Nokia that once
We've been adapting to change for over 150 years. Now, we're driving the next evolution, where networks meet cloud, alive with intelligence, enabling people, machines, and devices to interact in real time like never before, and making high-performance connectivity more consumable, adaptable, autonomous, open to innovation, to collaboration, networks that sense, think, and to reach people, places, nation. The precision of and the kaleidoscopic that helps the world.
So this is how the new what is the purpose of the new logo? So other video I have no time. What your current business is this? Okay, so please read it. Communication 5G, 6G, and tower and other business. So by doing the change, they have sold the product and they bought the companies. Okay, that's the one. I don't have much time. They did a lot of acquisition. So that the timeline of some that current document, this one. Okay, so control succession. So today 2.2 billion profit. So that's a change. This man did it. So now you can see here Nokia 24. What is it? So lesson learned. Prioritize. Lesson learned. Increase the speed. So please read this last post slide. So the Nokia rebirth.
Once a tight.
So that the current CEO, not that current CEO, that person was leaving before that the new CEO coming, you were talking about, he only has suggested the change to be, but anyway, he left it. Okay. That this was the one, this is about that I'm not talking about. So now you can see a summary of how rise and fall, rebirth has happened in summary. So 3 billion net cash flow, that's a big change they made it. So the failure to 3 billion net cash flow company. And so the things you learn or theory applied, change management theory, Kotas and strategic agility. So we discuss about that. structural management principle, structural decentralization, technology leadership. They went for 5G, 6G, and Tower. They are capable and they are the pioneers in that communication. So they were doing that. Leadership style. They use the transformation leadership, rebranded the company identity, and strategy vision. This is the lesson. Principally, you learn that. So that is the one. Okay. So these are the things.
There is a big difference between growth, progress.
Okay. Now all these things, 3 lectures or whatever it. So please listen to this video. It's only a 1 minute. Of course, I have taken 6 minutes. It will take 1 more minute. So you will understand growth, progress, success. When you make changes, you should know is one person is doing a small note up, key note on that. Please listen carefully.
And success. If you increase the turnover of your company from 50 crores to 100, from 100.
I'll repeat it.
To 500 crores. There is a big difference between growth, progress, and success. If you increase the turnover of your company from 50 crores to 100, from 100 to 500 crores, it is called growth. It is not success. Let me redefine you the definition of success. Increasing your materialistic possessions in all ways is your growth. That growth, if it is aided by ethics, ethic means discipline, means honesty, means norms, it is called progress. So growth plus ethics is progress. And that progress plus humanity, morality, and spirituality is called success.
So so anyway, that's I shared with you. Hope anyway I would have given something more slides. So I don't know whether 2 hours enough, 6 hours enough for me. So I have done it whatever I can possible. So please go through and do. I might give 2 questions. I think last time also I gave 2 questions. One is from that the 6 skill and all sort of things scenario. One other from the early stage of bus lecture something. So that's how you will be evaluated from the lesson learned from me. If you have any question, please ask me quickly.
No, sir. No questions.
Hello?
No questions, sir.
Yeah. So this is this one. So please go through and all this. All the best for the exam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye.